What's going on? It is Kyle Henderson of Bama Football on YouTube. Can I get a roll tide inside the comment box? Good morning. Today is July 15th. We've made it to the halfway point of the month of July. We continue with SEC Media Day. We're going to recap day one. We're going to talk about day two. Later in the evening, we'll come back and recap day two. Pull quotes, things that stood out. You have three teams at the podium today that made the playoffs, right? Tennessee, Texas, Georgia. We're going to talk about those two teams, and we're also going to talk about little brother today, which is Auburn. So we'll continue our SEC media coverage today and talk about things as they happen. I appreciate you guys joining me. Be sure and hit the thumbs up on these videos. I appreciate the super chats. If you guys want to support the show, Venmo, Bama_YouTube, Cash App, Bama YouTube. I appreciate all the support. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you guys. So thank you so much for joining me each and every day, or every time I go live. Yesterday, kind of recapping the news, Coach Saban still drives the bus on every single thing, everything, right? And that's all the world can talk about. I told you, last week, I told you that Coach Saban still, is living rent-free in people's mind. And yesterday, we had four teams from the SEC at the podium, right? Four teams. The headline was Coach Saban, who's not even a coach anymore. But earlier in the day, I thought it was brilliant. You want to still keep Coach Saban. You still want to see how he still controls media day. Let's just start talking about him, right? And so people, are asking the simple question, is a comeback in the works for Coach Saban? Lane Kiffin says that he'll be back. Lane Kiffin, likes to troll. Kirby Smart, I'm going to have a poll quote in just a second. He says it's unlikely. Chris Lowe says it's unlikely. Chris Lowe says that's more of a Miss Terry call. I don't think it's in the works. I really don't. I mean, what is he going to be 74? I have a couple points. If you saw my show yesterday, I'm going to go over a couple points why he might and why he probably won't here in just a second. All right. Brian Kelly, coach of LSU, had some positives to say about Alabama. He said that, look, physicality is connected to Alabama's identity. And he understands that. I mean, they had every opportunity to have a good plan in place to beat Alabama last year in Baton Rouge, and they didn't take care of business. They weren't the more prepared team. Jalen Miller ran for 4 touchdowns against LSU. Garrett Nussmeier underperformed, right? So I think Kelly, even though he has a team that, might be capable of being atop the SEC, who knows? I think it's going to be, you're going to have to be extremely elite to win the title this year. 17-game run, it's crazy. But he understands what's coming with Alabama. Listening to South Carolina, these are the high points that stood out to me. Shane Beamer was like, I didn't come to South Carolina to be 7-6. I like that. Yeah, he has fire in the belly. He has a competitive spirit. But I loved the interviews with the South Carolina players. I was watching them from other media sources. I'm sure you guys were too. They sidestepped all of the rat poison, right? They said all the right things. Call it coach talk, whatever. They handled things with class. I like that, right? Because I think South Carolina, they're capable to be really, really good. So you don't want to put any bulletin board material out there. I thought all the guys that they brought were very mature, very articulate. They did a really good job, including Lenora Sellers, their quarterback. All right. Diego Pavia wore a tuxedo, right? Of course, he'd wear a tuxedo to media days. But he did say that he wants to be like that 2020 Alabama team and come out and just start getting to work. And I know that Alabama fans, probably when Alabama fans look at the calendar of the teams that they're playing, of course, it's game by game. But I think everybody wants a shot at Diego Pavia because Diego, what he did to Alabama last year was nasty work. I mean, it was what it was, right? So that was kind of the day one recap, but kind of getting to Saban and a potential return, which I don't think is going to happen, by the way. I just came up with a couple points. I'm going to go over these real quick. If you didn't see this yesterday, I'd like your feedback inside the comment box. Also, there's a new feature on YouTube. I can see it. It's called Top Fans. All right. So I think it ranks the fans 1, 2, 3, and the rankings change based on your participation in the chat. Like if you super chat, you probably go to number 1. If you communicate a lot, you go to 2, 3. So there's like a leaderboard, and if you click Top Fans, you'll see the rankings. I think Jarvis won Top Fan last night on our evening show. All right. So these are a couple reasons that I think maybe Coach Saban could come back. Okay. And I know, like Jarvis is saying, Kent State. I saw people saying West Virginia. I don't think it would be any of those schools. I'll tell you the school that I think could be the school if it was going to happen. And good morning, Patriot Life, and everybody else inside the Undefeated. But the competitive fire still is in Saban. Once you're a competitor, you're always a competitor for life, period. Right? Those of you who have more life wisdom than us, I mean, do you get to a certain age and you're just like, oh, I'm not competitive anymore? Those of you that are 50, 60, 70, 80 watching the show, are you like, nah, I don't care who wins. I don't care who wins the game. Come on. Once you are a competitor, you're a competitor for life. I'm still competitive at 41. I was competitive at 30, 20 in my teens, right? As a kid. So that's part of Saban. I think if there's major reform to college football, we're getting closer to that, right? We're getting closer to, more rules and regulations around the Wild West. Before Saban bounced out, it was wild, right? But I think you're getting closer to major reform with college football rules, and who knows, maybe that's more enticing for him to come back. An irresistible job offer. I'll get right to the chase. I think the only place that he would maybe consider, and I don't even think this is a possibility, because this place could offer mega amounts of money, but he's already about to be a billionaire, so maybe that's not it. But a team that could win a national title from the jump, like an Ohio State. He said recently in an interview that he has a little bit of Buckeye in him because he coached at Ohio State. I know a lot of people saying West Virginia. I just don't see it being West Virginia. I don't know. I know it's where he's from, where they're from. I don't know. Okay. NFL, I don't think that Saban would ever go to the NFL again. I really don't. Last 2 points on why he could return. Coaching is in his identity. That's who he is. It's his DNA and the desire to be a mentor again. As Lane Kiffin said, and I'll have a pull quote in just a second, it was like he still has so much to offer as a mentor, which I do agree with. Because once you change people's lives, you really see that impact. That becomes, if that's part of your DNA, you're blessed to be able to change someone's life for the better. That is hard to walk away from, right? Whether you're playing golf every day or whether you're on a yacht, if you have an ability to change somebody's life for the better, that's hard to walk away from. I don't think there's any chance in hell that he comes back, okay? I really don't. And here's why. Yeah, Southern Red, I meant he's about to be a billionaire, right? That's what that Forbes article said. Billionaire. Think about that. Billionaire. I don't think it happens, right? He'll be, 74 this October, or will it be 75? Either way, he's living his best life. As I just mentioned, as we're talking about inside the comment box, he's about to be a billionaire. There's a beautiful article in Forbes that talks about not only him as a coach, but some of the investments that he's made with his car dealerships. He's got the Ferrari. Plus, he's a grandfather. Anybody out there that has grandkids, getting time to spend, with your grandkids and being present as a grandfather, whether that's going to Little League baseball games, whether that's taking the kid on the boat, whether that's being home for Christmas. Look, December is a hell of a taxing time for people that work in college football. It really is. It's the busiest month that there is in December. So yeah, there's no Christmas time. In fact, when you're a coach, you celebrate Christmas another month. All right. Patriot Life in with the gift for the memberships. Appreciate you, Patriot Life. Always taking care of the community, right? He's stress-free, right? until your golf game is like elite, right? You're probably going to have a little bit more stress. But Cedric told me one time, I was eating at Chuck's, and I was talking to Cedric, and he said that Coach Saban reads the greens better than anybody he's ever been around, all right? Financially set for life, and his legacy is already cemented. All I want is for them to make a little statue or a little plaque for Miss Terry. I really do. William, and you know what? I wouldn't be mad about that either if Coach Saban ran for president. That's probably a more interesting topic and something probably more realistic. Lane Kiffin said this on Monday. I think Coach Saban will come back to coaching, whether that's in the NFL or college football. I don't know. Coach Kiffin, I love the sound bites. I know people from Alabama football at one point wanted him to come here. I think that ship has completely sailed. I don't think Alabama fans want Lane Kiffin anymore in the future. I think that flame has been extinguished, and I think that he likes to stay in the headlines. And he does a good job by doing that. Kirby Smart today, that was just this morning. He said, nah, I don't believe it'll happen, but I certainly know that he would be good for the game. 100%, right? He still has a lot to offer. I know he loves being with his grandkids, as we just talked about. He's not going to get off that couch without Miss Terry letting him. That's one of those hard things. He's got to bypass her first. And you're not bypassing Miss Terry. Miss Terry is always going to be someone that we always talk about in this space. But let me just say this before I move on from Coach Saban, all right? I kind of feel, and I'd like to put this to bed about Coach Saban, because I love Coach Saban just as much as anybody else, right? It is amazing covering the greatest college football coach of all time. But this particular time of the year, and specifically tomorrow, I feel bad for Coach Kalen DeBoer, okay? Because the first question that he's going to be asked on Wednesday is about Coach Saban coming back to coach in some capacity. Coach Kalen DeBoer, to his credit, had one hell of a first year. There was some good, there was some bad, but he laid the tracks. This is his organization. Alabama football is under his leadership right now. And I get it. You're never going to get out of the shadow of somebody as big as Coach Saban. But I think right now it's all Coach Saban. And I think that's, I don't know if it's disrespectful. That's probably the wrong adjective, but it's like, man, let's focus on the team, the players that we currently have. If Saban somehow, some way comes back, we embrace that, however that looks. I don't think that he come back to coach Alabama. Do you really want him to come back and be a coach at West Virginia? Do you want him to be like some of these other coaches who have come out of retirement? Like, Saban did it. And maybe that's a way, like, we miss him that bad that we're willing to make up these ideas and these topics just to think about. I don't know what it is, but I wish it would go to bed, and it won't, because Coach Saban drives clicks. He drives views. Anything that he says is gold. And I guarantee it, whoever asked Coach Saban about this, like right now, Coach Saban is going to say this. Oh, I had no idea that they're even talking about me coming back to play or to coach college football. No idea. All right. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? He's going to have no idea that this is even going on, which I don't think is true. I know he sees stuff on social. How could you not? Come on. Everybody sees everything. Especially he works for ESPN. So I wish that would go to bed, but it won't. And we'll continue to talk about it and pull quotes throughout the week. But the main topic of SEC Media Days, who would have thought it was once again all Alabama and all Coach Saban. So, but that's just Coach Saban. All right, today at the podium, you have 3 out of the 4 teams that made the college football playoffs. You have Auburn, you have Hugh Freeze, you have Georgia, you have Tennessee, and you have Texas. 3 out of those 4 teams made the college football playoffs. That just shows you how deep the SEC is. I mean, yesterday we covered LSU, Ole Miss, South Carolina, Vanderbilt, which should all be really good teams. And today, 3 out of the 4 teams also that Alabama will play this year, right? Auburn, Georgia, and Tennessee. Next segment, sponsored by our good friends at Sonic, right? West Memphis, Arkansas, Marion, Arkansas, where I-55 and I-40 meet. So next time you're cruising through the great state of Arkansas, put on your Roll Tide hat and tell them that Kyle Henderson of Bama Football on YouTube sent you, right? We appreciate you, by the way. Thank you so much. Been a really good summer sponsor for us. First up, let's talk about the Auburn Tigers, okay? Hugh Freeze, Jackson Arnold is their quarterback. As you know, Jackson Arnold, this is an interesting thing to me. He transferred from Oklahoma to Auburn. And the crazy thing was, Oklahoma, he did nasty work against Alabama last year. Oklahoma had 2 players that rushed for over 100 yards against Alabama in a single game. Jackson Arnold was one of those. The running back was the other. Okay, last season they were 5-7. Look, Hugh Freeze is not it. He's definitely part of the problem. As I started looking at things this morning, I brought up this graphic before we get to this, and I was thinking, I was like, this is my topic for this segment, is like, what the hell is wrong over here? Seriously, like what happened? And I'm not like trolling, like what happened? How are these guys so terrible over the last, their last winning season, and that's only a 6-5 year, was 2020. Think about how much life has changed since 2020. Like in Auburn, 5-7, 6-7, 5-7, 5. Like, this is crazy. Like, what is wrong? Their recruiting is terrible. I don't even know where they are. Remember we used to have like the daily graph of where they were. Like, what happened? You know, a couple observations while I've been here for the last 10 years. When Gus Malzahn was here, like, this is how I saw Auburn, okay? When I first got here, true story, I saw it was Gus Malzahn was the head coach and Kevin Steele was the defensive coordinator. And they were pretty good. The defense, I knew that the defense was always going to be good. Kevin Steele, remember, he even came here for 1 year. But they were pretty good. Once they got, I think Auburn was like, you know what? We can do better than Gus Malzahn. They haven't. Ever since they got rid of Gus Malzahn, they've gone the opposite way, and they continue to trend the opposite way. I think Hugh Freeze was a name that, people were curious about and thought could be a fix. But man, this really opens your eyes when you see 5-7, 6-7, 5-7, 5-7, 6-7. It's like, those are terrible years. And I mean, look, now let's look at their schedule this year, and I'll go full screen on it, and let's see how many games these guys lose or win. All right. At Baylor, I seriously, I don't know. I don't know. Ball State, okay, they'll win. All right, so let me write this down so we can get it right. What do you guys have Auburn at? Let's see. So we'll do wins and we'll do losses. All right, so, okay, Baylor. Do they beat Baylor? I don't know. I'll say no. Okay, they beat Ball State. Okay, they'll beat South Alabama. At Oklahoma, no. Okay. At Texas A&M, no. Georgia, no. Missouri, yes. Arkansas, sure. Kentucky, yeah, let's give them that one. Vandy, yeah. Let's just say they beat Vandy like in overtime. Mercer, yeah. Bama, no. So I have them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have them 7-1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have them 7-5. Most of you guys have them 5-7, 6-7. Yeah. But yeah, Keena, what's up? Keena Bina, I like that. Yeah, after Auburn, after Gus Malzahn left, man, they completely just went completely downhill. By the way, who wins that first game, Baylor or Auburn? Does Auburn win that game? I don't think so. I have them 7-5. Steve brings up, Steve Taylor inside the comment box. Isn't that what happened in Nebraska? I think so, bro. That's another team. You're like, man, you look at the coaches that they've had, and they thought that they could, do better. You can't. Man, so who would have thought that Auburn would be like this right here? Okay, so everybody's saying Auburn wins that game. Yeah, or Baylor. That's what I thought. Okay. Let's see. Do they beat do they beat Oklahoma on the road? I would say no. They're not going to beat Georgia. I don't think they probably beat Missouri, I guess. The game is in Auburn. Arkansas, I can see that game in overtime. Kentucky, I think Arkansas, Kentucky, Vanderbilt, those are all toss-up games with Auburn. Right? And as I mentioned on that funny video that I had, a couple days ago, at least Auburn understands that they have self-awareness. They understand that it's not good. And no matter what their record is, I think we can all agree that the last game on November 29th at Jordan-Hare Stadium, all bets are off. It doesn't matter if, Ty Simpson is putting together a Heisman-type year. Going into that game, all bets are off. That is one thing that I've learned. I have learned that rivalry game is strange, but it's only strange when the game is at Jordan-Hare. When it's at Bryant-Denny Stadium, it seems to go the way for the Tide. But when it's at Jordan-Hare, who the hell knows? Honestly, it is the weirdest thing. They could have a backup quarterback. They could have a tight end at quarterback, and this team somehow. Yeah, that's it. Anita says it. Let's get Anita's comments on the board. This is it. Thank you, Anita. Period. The barn is crazy. Has anybody ever been there? I've been there. I've been to a game there. I've been to 2 games there. And each game was crazier than the next. I don't know why it's like that. Coach Saban finally explained that it's haunted. So, anyways, Gus Malzahn. Actually, Gus Malzahn, you know where he went? He's with Florida State, and he's their offensive coordinator this year. That's pretty wild. Georgia also at the podium today. Okay. Let me ask you a question about Gunnar Stockton. You think this Gunnar Stockton is like one of the top quarterbacks in the SEC, or do you think he's kind of mid? I want to say that he's mid-level, but we also haven't seen a lot of volume from him. It seems to me that the quarterback at Georgia has always been kind of a little of their issue. Same thing with the wide receiver play. I thought the wide receiver play over the last couple years, is not it. Now, I know they got Zachariah Branch coming in, right, who should be a really good weapon. But I don't know. I kind of feel like he's a little bit mid. Cases say no rat poison. Yeah, I get that. But we know Kirby Smart isn't mid. And I think that, Kirby Smart, despite what's gone on, the thing with Georgia is how many guys have they had arrested and all that off the field stuff. I didn't expect that to be kind of part of Georgia's DNA over the last couple years, but it is, right? A lot of off the field stuff. But they have a very good defense. They do have playmakers. They do hella well in recruiting. I mean, they're up there. And Kirby Smart, he's won a national title. He's cut from the Saban tree. Last year, they were 11-3, right? Made the playoffs. But as I continue to mention about self-awareness, Auburn self-aware, Georgia, they have selective amnesia. Every school has something. Georgia fans and Georgia has selective amnesia. They forget the games against Alabama. They forgot that they lost last year to Alabama because they made the playoffs. You see what I'm saying? It's the weirdest thing that I've seen in college football, but these guys do an amazing job of forgetting their losses to specifically Alabama. Everybody remembers the game last year. That was probably one of the better games that I've seen in college football. I thought before I show you the schedule, I literally thought the first half of that game, I thought that that was probably the most dangerous Alabama football team that I had seen in a while. I was like, oh my goodness. I was like, this football team is like going to be unstoppable this year. In the second half, Georgia made some incredible adjustments. And to Carson Beck's credit, he never put his head down. The guy kept battling. It was crazy that they even came back and took the lead in that game, right? Now this year for Georgia, let's do the same thing, okay? Let's look at the wins and let's look at the losses, okay? All right, so we got Marshall. That's a W. Okay, we got Austin P. They win that game. At Tennessee, I'll take Georgia. Bama will put that as an L. Kentucky, put that as a W. At Auburn, W, right? So I got 5 wins. See, Ole Miss, they'll win that game. Florida, they're going to lose. Okay, they'll probably lose. Do they lose? See, the thing about this schedule right here is they have a tough schedule, but they got Bama at home. They got Ole Miss at home. They got Florida at home, or Florida neutral site game, and they got Texas at home. So 5, 6. Let's see, 7, 8, 8-2, 10-2. Yeah, I have them at 10-2. 10-2. What you guys think? 10-2? I mean, who else is going to beat them? You think Texas beats Georgia at Athens? You think Georgia really loses 2 games at home this year? Maybe. I mean, they're playing Bama and Texas. Auburn will probably play them tight. You know, Ole Miss will play them close, but Ole Miss can't seem to beat Georgia. I don't know. I probably have Georgia, I guess, at 10-2. Seth and I think Hugh hit the podium a little bit. I think he already hit the podium this morning. I don't know what he said. I'm going to watch it after the show. But 10-2, right? So you're taking Georgia probably, you know, depending on how things shake out in the SEC standings, with potentially making another appearance in the SEC title game, right? Who's Georgia's backup quarterback? Jason points out they beat him last year. Yeah. I'm curious to see if they could do it again. Because, you know, it just works out well for them that their schedule, they host everybody, right? Including Alabama. That's going to be one hell of a game. All right. Also at the podium today, you got Tennessee, right? Josh Heupel. I played these guys last night. I streamed against, hey, Bill O'Brien's inside the comment box. What's up, dog? I played these guys last night. Did anyone watch the stream on here? I know we had a few people on last night watching it. The secondary was crazy. They were so good. And Joey Aguilar, my goodness. You know who he kept on throwing to in this video game that I played last night was Miles Ketzelman. Remember, he was a tight end here? He had like 10 receptions or something like that. Last year, Tennessee was 10-3. All right. I would have never thought. Did you guys think this about Tennessee? Who would have thought that Josh Heupel would have been the right guy for the job? I thought it was going to be Jeremy Pruitt. I thought once Jeremy Pruitt got there that things will get settled in. J Level Sports Gaming, what's up, bro? Welcome to the show. But Josh Heupel's done a pretty good job. I mean, 10-3 last season, and you look at this coming season, right? Let's do the same thing for Tennessee. All right, we have Georgia at 10-2. Let's see what we got with Tennessee. I haven't even looked at their schedule. All right, so Syracuse, it's a neutral site game. Let's take, even though Syracuse does have a new quarterback, Jarvis, what's the line on Tennessee and Syracuse in the opener? That's actually a pretty interesting game. I'll take Tennessee, though. Okay, East Tennessee, okay, they'll win that game, too. At Georgia, they'll lose. Okay. UAB, they win. Mississippi State, they win. Arkansas, win. Bama, lose. Kentucky, win. Oklahoma. Okay, they'll win. The game's at Neyland Stadium. Oh, my beloved New Mexico State Aggies, they win. Florida, let's say they lose that game. And they beat Vandy. So I have them at 9-3, right? And look, I mean, Tennessee is always in the news, like Southern Red's mentioning right here, for all sorts of different things that happen with the NCAA in Tennessee, right? It's like in the state of Tennessee is always coming up with like new rules and all sorts of stuff. And the whole stuff with Nico was absolutely crazy. I thought of all quarterbacks, Nico was probably the last quarterback. What did he ask for? How many million? Like 4 million or something like that? Or was it 2 million? I don't even know if Nico coming back today, like he was good. He wasn't great, and he definitely wasn't elite. I can't believe that out of all the guys in the SEC that he asked for the most, like for more money. I'd have been like, yeah, go 9-3 and we'll talk. Go 10-2 and we'll talk. But that was a weird situation. There's many different quarterbacks that are far better than him. Was it $4 million? That's crazy. I would have never paid him $4 million. Never. No way. I would have paid him like the average going rate of what a quarterback makes, like $1 million. Maybe. Seriously. I've been like, did you see how you played last year? Let's watch the tape. That was crazy. Okay. Texas, also at the podium today. All right. A lot of big names here. Steve Sarkisian, one of, we all love Steve Sarkisian. He got his dream job at Texas. I've been really enjoying Steve Sarkisian's career. I knew that, he was going to do work when he was here and got to be around him a little bit. Man, Texas, I'm sure Texas is going to offer him like $1 billion contract or whatever. Arch Manning, we'll finally see him. Let me ask you on Arch Manning. Do you think like the hype, do you think that this guy is like going to be it? That's like one of the biggest questions I think in college football. Is Arch Manning, like, is he going to live up to the hype? Because we've made him out to be, and he's a Manning. Manning's throw for yards, right? We saw him, I think it was a couple years ago, throw for, I don't know, a crazy amount of numbers in the spring game. And then last year, or this past spring, they didn't even have a spring game because, college football is weird now. But I don't know. I mean, last year, 13-3, 16-game season. Arch Manning will be the guy now. You look at their schedule. Let's do it again. All right. Okay, clean slate. All right, starting off. Oh, shoot. Jarvis, I need your help. What's the line for that Ohio State Texas game? Who wins? Who wins real quick? Ohio State or Texas? Ohio State or Texas? Let's just say that they lose this game. Let's just see what happens. Okay, San Jose State, they win. UTEP, they win. Sam Houston, they win. At Florida, and let's give them the dub. Oklahoma, they win. Kentucky, they win. Mississippi State, they win. Vandy, they win. At Georgia, let's say they win that game too. Arkansas, and then A&M. 12-1? I mean, 11-2, 12-1? Is that what the season's looking like? I guess the trouble spots for these guys are clearly the opener at Ohio State The game at Florida, going to, the Swamp, I think will present a lot of challenges. Oklahoma, that's their rivalry game. Really good, 2 really good quarterbacks in that matchup. That should be fantastic. Going to Georgia, clearly, and then Texas A&M at the back end of the schedule. That game is in Austin. So, what do you guys have them? How many games? Hey, William Smith, man, thanks for following. 11-2. Probably. I think 10 games would probably be would be a disappointment for them during the regular season. I think this team is probably capable to win 11 games for sure. So these guys are going to be there. That first game, that's going to be one hell of a game. Wow, that's wild. So Julian Sain versus Arch Manning in week 1. Remember when Julian Sain came here for the springtime? Do you guys remember that? Julian Sain, he came here. I don't know this for sure. This is what I heard. I heard that Julian Sain got paid by Bama. Came in. We went to the Rose Bowl, remember? We were all checking him out, passing. He looked a little thin. And then he dipped out after Coach Saban retired. That was crazy. The first game's in Columbus, Chad. So Texas at Ohio State in the first game. So all right, so as I did yesterday, let me ask you about this, okay? Out of the teams at the podium today, who's going to be the best teams? Let's rank them. Just these teams on the board. Rank them 1, 2, 3, 4. Do we go Texas, Georgia, Tennessee, Auburn? Is it that simple? I think it might be as easy as that. I think Texas, Tennessee, or Texas, Georgia, Tennessee, Auburn, of course, right? Does anybody have Georgia better than Texas this year? And I guess if we had to rank the teams, from the last 2 days, I'd probably still go Texas, Georgia, I guess LSU. I'm trying to figure out like the media rankings, right? Sean the Explorer is saying Texas isn't that good. These were the teams yesterday. So but I think Texas have a really good season. I really do. This is our raffle that we have today. We'll spin the pinwheel here in just a minute. You have an Alabama tree-tied camo script patch hat. This is from Athlete's Thread. I'll show you guys who's up in the raffle today. We had a raffle yesterday in the evening time, and Fred Warner came away with the W. That was a nice score for old Fred. This one's a little bit small, so if you want to get in, now's a good time. I'll leave it open for just a little bit, and then we'll spin the pinwheel in just a minute. And then news as it happens, and I'll come back this afternoon. I came back yesterday, and I ran an evening show, basically just, recapping the news. And I think I'll do that today. So this is for the camo hat. And if you want to get into the raffle for that hat, Venmo Bama _YouTube or Cash App Bama YouTube. I'll leave it open for a few minutes, otherwise we'll spin it. Any other thoughts or observations while we're waiting for us to get loaded on the raffle? Is there like a sleeper team? Is there a sleeper player? Does anybody think that Coach Saban comes back? Somebody said he'll go back to Kent State. I don't think that. Let me do a couple shout outs real quick. Max Tooney, what's up, bro? He says Gunner Stockton is mid. What's up, Case? Good to see you, bro. Jay Boogie, Sam, what's up, man? Good to see you. TBG, Beth James, Steve Taylor, Case, King's Family Reacts, Keena Bina, William, Southern Red, Coach Smith. Appreciate it. Bama Boy, what's up? J. Cole, Twan, Sean the Explorer, Antoine, Anita, Jarvis. Good crew up in here today. Chad Kennedy, J. Cole, Bruce Watson. I thought I saw Dan Caraway. Is Dan Caraway in here too? Coach Smith, Antoine, Bill O'Brien. All right, J. Cole. Tide is rising. What's up, man? I don't know what you said, but what's up? All right. Good crew up in here. Anybody? And last call for the raffle, for today's raffle. And tomorrow's a big ticket item. Does anybody have any suggestions for a big ticket item? I have a couple ideas. Sam Mullins, what's up, dog? Bama Hater, what's up, dog? Good to see you, man. Chad saying Ole Miss will be good. Any ideas for a large ticket item for tomorrow, for Wednesday? Because we do that because Wednesday, Bama's at the podium, right? I mean, it's a big news day tomorrow. The jerseys are the best. I think the jerseys are tight. You know, I would do shoes, but I looked at some of the shoes and they don't have all the sizes. So it was like I could only do a raffle for people who had like size 8. Ooh, tickets to a game? Damn, that's a really good idea. Game tickets? Okay. Yeah, game tickets is really, really good. Would you guys be down for like an autographed jersey? Because I saw some of those yesterday when I was kind of like looking for big ticket items. Like I saw an autographed jersey by like Ryan Williams, and it had 2 of his rookie cards. You know what? Remember last year I bought some rookie cards of Ryan Williams, and I sent them out. Somebody won it from the chat. I can't remember. Yeah, sign memorabilia is cool. And I wish I would have kept one of those Ryan Williams rookie cards. This was even before the season. Because I was looking up yesterday, and some of those signed Ryan Williams rookie cards were crazy. All right. Well, let's spin it for the hat for the time being. All right, so it looks like tickets. We'll just have to, what we'll do though is we'll have to turn that around like really quick so I can, you know, get the actual tickets, you know, for the game. I'll look at the ticket prices after this. That'd be tight. Okay, cool. So let's spin the pinwheel. Let's do the music. Let's do it proper. All right, we'll pause it right here. All right, here we go. This is a good race right here. We got, you know, got a few people in. Ethan just jumped in late. Okay, so we have a late entry. We're gonna have to restart the music, Wilson, for this. Okay. All right. We have a late ad. That late ad. Hey, Bama Hater, you never get up into the raffles, dog. You need to get into the raffles. All right, get this. 1 second. All right, let me get it. I'll be right back. Welcome to Bama Football on YouTube. Please like and subscribe for more Alabama football content. If you're interested in the raffles, just kidding. I'm sorry, I'm stupid. I always do that commercial thing. It's so stupid. It's so funny. All right, so please email me after if you have won. If you're interested to be a sponsor of the show, hit me up as well. I really appreciate all the support. nmpreps@gmail. If you do win the raffle, so email me so I can get the size and get that sent out. All right. The commercials are my favorite part. I'm starting to like that. I don't know, man. This show gets like the least amount of likes out of all the other content creators. It's crazy. That's why I don't even look at the likes anymore, dog. Stay in your lane, bro. All right. 1, 2, 1, 2. All right. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. All right. Oh, my God. Here we go. Here it is. Ah, Case. Case with another win, man. Good win, brother. Case, a really good supporter out in Tampa. So nice, man. So tomorrow, big ticket item. I'll look into the tickets. So that's I don't know. We've never done tickets before, but that's a damn good idea. So let's do the tickets. Case, good work, dog. Nice win. You're the hat guy, bro. I appreciate you guys joining news as it happens. Remember, we got SEC Media Day, so stay tuned. I'll be uploading stuff to our Facebook channel as well. If you guys, let's see, I'll add the Facebook link in here. I post like graphics and some stuff here. Sometimes like quick little clips or whatever. So, and this is the email as well, nmpreps@gmail.com. Cool. All right. Well, I love you, fam. Thank you very much for kicking it with Kyle today, right here on Bama Football on YouTube. Have a beautiful rest of your day. I'll be back later in the day to recap all the news from day 2 of SEC Media Day. We're inching closer to college football season. I love you. I appreciate you guys, each and every one of you guys, for just rocking here, right here on Bama Football on YouTube. Coming to you from beautiful Tuscaloosa, Alabama on Tuesday, July 15th. Kyle Henderson of Bama Football on YouTube. See you, fam.